in there because of a lack of offense.
But he has pitched almost 7 innings every time out there, 7+ actually.
Michael Bourne digging in. First pitch breaking ball, strike one, says Bill Welke, and it's underway in Cincinnati. Bourne at 293. You want to keep him off the bases. He leads the league with 54 steals. 1 ball and 1 strike to Michael Bourne. Reds play him to hit the ball the other way, and you have to tuck in on the corners. And after strike 2 is called, Rolen will back up at third, and Joey will do the same at first.
He has made himself a leadoff hitter, Tom, slapping the ball the other way and using those 2 extremities that drop right below the waist.
2-2.
He can flat out run.
Two and two on Bourne, and he fouls it back. We'll do it again. Here you have just under 3 weeks left to go in this season, and granted, it would be I'm not going to say an amazing accomplishment. It would take a lot of work, but when you consider the fact that these 2 teams have 2 series left, as that one is banged into center field, a base hit. The Reds are 6 games behind Houston for 3rd place in the National League Central Division. Now, is that a realistic goal to make up that 6 games? Some might say yes. Some might say not a chance. It is a goal nonetheless.
Well, it depends on how you look at your season. Is the glass half full, or do you just shut it down? I don't think that there's any shutdown in a lot of these guys that are on this team. And you look at the Astros, and they actually had a meeting about a month ago talking about that same very thing, that Oswalt and Berkman felt like there were some guys on their team that were shutting it down early and just playing out the string. And you can't do that. You can't do it from a team standpoint, and you definitely can't do it from an individual standpoint.
Well, we mentioned Bourne, 54 stolen bases. He's only been thrown out 10 times.
I think when it gets down to it, you want to finish as high as you possibly can. Catch the next guy in front of you. That's your goal.
And that would be Milwaukee if you're the Reds. And going into play tonight, the Reds are 4.5 behind the Brewers, who have ripped off 3 straight wins. They're only a half game behind this Houston club for 3rd. Strike 1 to Kaz Matsui.
And we saw this Reds ball club put 7 wins together and really put some games together at the start of that last road trip against the Atlanta Braves. Can't tell me that they don't have it in them. They have it in them. It's just a matter of coming to the ballpark every day and believing they have it in them.
Scott Rolen a couple of steps in on the grass at third. Matsui lifts a fly ball down the left field line out of play, and Arroyo ahead of him, and no balls and 2 strikes. Matsui, a guy who's oft injured through his major league career, but that has not been the story this season. Tonight, his 115th game of the season, which is a career high. He last played in 114 games back in 2004. Popped up, and this one appears to be playable. In foul ground, Brandon there, 1 away.
Fastball right on the inside corner.
Let's take a look at the Reds defensively, presented by Ford. They'll go with Drew Stubbs, flanked by Darnell McDonald and Johnny Gomes. Roland, Yanish, Phillips, and Votto. Third to first, a battery of Bronson Arroyo and Ryan Hanigan.
That battery right there between Bronson and Ryan Hanigan has been one from day one that has worked awfully well together. And it's really started to pay off in the months of August and September. When everybody else is dragging, these guys are kicking it.
Lance Berkman at 275 this season, 21 home runs, 72 runs batted in. It's a good year for most guys. An off year, if you will, for Berkman. Looked like a pretty good pitch right there. It's called a ball off the inside corner.
Well, I think Arroyo knows he has to come in on these guys, especially early in the ball game, to really give the opportunity for his breaking ball to be what it is late in the game.
Berkman has knocked in more than 100 runs each of the last 3 years. You go back to 05, the last time he didn't, but he only played in 132 games that year, the only time in his career he's been hurt. So really, if you throw that one out, every year he's played 150 games or more. He has knocked in over 100 runs 7 times in the last 8 years. That's not going to happen this season.
Well, I think when you look at a player over a period of time, there are always going to be bumps in the road, Tom. I don't think you can expect a phenomenal yield from a player every single time. But my biggest watch when I see a guy have a bump in the road like Berkman has this year, I want to see what he does next year. Does he continue to falter and to drop off? If he is, then, well, it may be coming towards the end. But for a guy like Berkman, I don't think so. I think it'll be a monster.
He's only 33 years old. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Nope, Arroyo going to step off the rubber.
And I think as you age, as you get older, every player, once you pass that age of 32, and I can remember back in my time, you pass that age of 32, not 30, 32, things start to change a little bit in your body. You have to work almost twice as much just to keep what you got.
Runner goes, swing and a miss, throw down a second, not going to be in time. But Berkman is out of there on strikes for the second out of the inning, and Bourne has his 55th stolen base, and we mentioned earlier that's most in baseball.
Really gets a great jump, Tom. Even when you slide step for a pitcher, getting the ball to the plate as fast as possible. Bourne sits and reads and reads and reads, and you can see him almost go before Arroyo even started to go to the plate. He has become a base stealer, not just a fast guy who can steal bases.
Only 2 players in the major leagues have more steals this season than Michael Bourne. We mentioned the 55 most in the National League. In the American League, Jacoby Ellsbury of Boston was 61, and Carl Crawford has 56 with the Rays. 0-1 to Carlos Lee. A ball and a strike.
When Ed Wade came over from Philadelphia as the general manager there and came to Houston as the general manager in Houston, Bourne was one of the guys that he wanted most of all. When nobody else believed in him, and now this guy's hitting .293 with those numbers. That's your leadoff hitter for a while.
He has a lot more believers than Ed Wade.
He does now.
Yes. And good for him. That's going out and earning it.
That's great. As many folks will tell you, and you've heard it time and time again, you can't teach speed. That's one of those 5 tools that comes with the package.
1-2 to Lee, and a breaking ball sweeps away. Lee 6 RBI shy of 100, and if he gets to that number, and you figure he will, that would give him 5 consecutive seasons going back to 2005 with 100 or more RBIs.
That's what they got him for.
Breaking ball fooled him badly, and that's strike 3. A good start for Arroyo. Allows a hit, a couple of strikeouts. The Reds are coming up. First inning against Wandy Rodriguez. Let's check their starting lineup presented by U.S. Bank. Drew Stubbs leads off in center field. Paul Giannis at short. Joey Votto, the first baseman. Brandon Phillips in the cleanup spot. Scott Rowland down at third. And Johnny Gomes. Boy, as he likes hitting here at Great American Ballpark. Latter third of Darnell McDonald, Ryan Hannigan, and Bronson Arroyo. And on the mound, having an outstanding year, is Wandy Rodriguez.
Tommy has come from a kid that really had a difficult time challenging the strike zone to someone who has a whole lot of fun getting after it out there on the mound. For a guy that has faced the Reds time and time again, you go back almost a year and a half, July 30th of 2008. That was the last time that he gave up over 2 earned runs against the Reds. And that's a little while. Fastballs away, changeups away. He has learned to pitch inside, and he has that big yellow hammer curveball that he will drop on you at any time.
Why would that be called a yellow hammer rather than a red hammer, or blue hammer or something like that? Where did yellow hammer come from? You know,
I really don't know. I don't have an answer for that one. But I know that when I was growing up, that's what everybody called it, was a yellow hammer. Maybe it has something to do with a piece of equipment or something back in the old days that just dropped straight down.
Yellow hammer. And there's a walk to Drew Stubbs, leading off the Reds' first inning. Defensively for Houston, the speedy Bourne in center. Carlos Lee in left. Hunter Pence is in right. Berkman, Matsui, Tejada, and Blum first to third, with a battery of Rodriguez and Humberto Quintero. Now we know Stubbs can run in limited playing time since being brought up from Louisville. 5 steals and 8 attempts. But can you run against Rodriguez?
That's the key. Left-hander is a little bit more difficult, and Wandy will keep his eye on it.
Strike one to Paul Giannis. Checks in at 211, a home run, 13 runs batted in.
When you're running off of a left-hander, the thing that you have to be wary of is the fact that a left-hander can step off the back of the mound and snap throw, and you're still dead in your tracks. So you can't get out there that big, huge lead that you do against a right-hander, because a left-hander is standing there looking right at you. He steps off the back of the mound and just snaps the ball right to you. That big lead goes to waste.
1-1 to Giannis, and it's chopped foul. And Rodriguez ahead at 1 ball and 2 strikes. I mean, you look in some of the numbers for Wandy Rodriguez, and you wonder how in the world this guy's not knocking on the door in mid-September of a 20-win season.
I know.
He's limited opponents. Now think about this. In 11 of his last 13 starts, this is going back to the beginning of July, he has allowed 1 run or less in 11 of the 13 outings. And yet he has 13 wins on the year. Heck, you could win 13 games since July pitching like that.
I know. And you would think that looking at this ball club from an offensive standpoint, that they would be putting those kind of numbers on the board, but they're really not. And I think a lot of that lays on the guy that plays first base, in Lance Berkman. When you bat third on this ball club, you got to get there and drive in runs. Tejada, same deal.
All right, I got some information.
Left hand.
Our statistician supreme, Mark Wagner, went to Wikipedia to look up yellow hammer. Now, you're not going to believe this, but this is what it says.
I'll believe it.
All right. 2-2, and it's fouled out of play. A nickname for an exceptional curveball. The term is derived from the similarity between a sharp 12-6 downward breaking curve and the manner in which the yellow hammer bird dives towards its insect prey. Slow curves or curves with progressive arcing breaks would not be identified by this term. So it has to be that 12-6, much like the yellow hammer bird in pursuit of its insect prey.
In other words,
nice.
Dropping off the table. Thank you, Daddy Wags. That's outstanding. So it's not a piece of equipment.
No.
It's actually a bird.
The yellow hammer.
Yellow hammer. I wonder if a yellow hammer is a woodpecker.
Pitch taken, strike 3, throw to second, and Stubbs is out there. So a strike him out, throw him out, double play, wipes the bases empty. 2 away.
That goes back to exactly what you were talking about, Tom. Can you steal it off of a left-hander? Most base runners have a difficult time, even if it's a split-second delay in your break from first base off of a left-hander, you're going to get nailed, and that's what happens with Stubbs there. He had just a delay in his break, and he got nailed.
Now Joey Votto at 299, 21 home runs and 70 runs batted in. He looks at a breaking ball away. A ball and a strike.
He's been swinging the bat better lately. Taking better swings. Not getting quite the same production that he had earlier in the season, but he looks more confident at the plate.
Well, his production over the last 4 games has been better. 6 hits in his last 16 at bats. Of course, that 296 batting average on Wednesday was the lowest it's been all year long. That ball stung to center field. It'll fall in for a hit.
That's the pitch there that has given him the most trouble over the last 2.5 months, is the fastball that comes in right on his hands. Watch where this ball is on Votto. It's inside, but it's still a breaking ball, but the ball is inside. It gets on this part of the plate. Votto sees it as a ball that's going to break out over the plate, but yet when it comes right in this part right here, that's when he's got to make his decision. He's thinking the ball is going to sweep across the plate. It doesn't do that, so he's still got to stay inside of it because he's already committed himself. He does a good job of getting the fat part to the bat and getting it out over the infield.
So Votto aboard for Brandon Phillips. 13 RBIs away is Brandon from 100 runs batted in this season. Strike 1. The yellowhammer, by the way, is most frequently confused with the siskin, which is a finch. It is a British bird.
Yellowhammer?
The yellowhammer. Swing and a miss. 0-2 on Brandon Phillips.
Well, that'd be a long flight.
You're not lying. Now that's the 12-6 yellowhammer.
Yes, straight down. And it's not exactly the speed of the ball, it's the break of the ball, and it's also the reaction of the hitter.
One and two to count on Brandon Phillips. Votto at first, 2 men out, scoreless game. We're in the bottom of the first inning. Breaking ball that Brandon is able to lay off of. Well, I'm sure that looks so good getting close to the plate and then just disappeared.
Especially when a guy has a fastball that can come in 90 and above, because you have to have that split-second reaction, and that tells you how good these hitters are from your hand-eye coordination and then recognizing that pitch and being able to lay off on it.
Couldn't get that one. That's strike 3, and that'll end the inning. So a hit, a man left. We played 1, and we are scoreless. By Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers for Serious Injuries. Brandon Phillips' pursuit, 1 home run away of going 20-20-20. You know about the home runs and stolen bases, but also 20 or more doubles in a season. That is rare for any player in Major League Baseball. Brandon already has the stolen bases and doubles covered up. He has 19 home runs.
And that's just a pure combination of raw power and speed. To be able to not only run and hit doubles, but also to hit the ball out of the ballpark and steal bases.
Now Brandon has done it twice already. In fact, in back-to-back years. But with 1 more home run, he'll become the first Red ever to do it 3 consecutive years. 20 or more home runs, 20 or more doubles, 20 or more stolen bases. Vada Pinson, twice in his career, did it in back-to-back years. Joe Morgan, twice in his Reds career, did it in back-to-back seasons. But no player has done it 3 straight years.
That's some solid company right there, my buddy.
I would have bet on Barry Larkin. I am stunned that he did not do that more than 2 years in a row. Fly ball right field, easy for Johnny Gomes, and Miguel Tejada retired to begin the 2nd inning.
It's so surprising to look up and down the stats relationship between doubles and home runs. You figure if a guy has 20 home runs, surely he'll have 20 doubles, and it doesn't happen. They always end up short on one or the other. And to steal bases, it's not just speed. You've got to have some type of mental capacity that allows you to study the pitchers and allows you to get a good jump and to make a break and a good slide at second base.
Hunter Pence has had a nice year. 287 batter, 23 home runs, 68 runs batted in. Pence nearly won the National League's Rookie of the Year award a couple of years ago, but got hurt, then battled a number of injuries last year. And by and large, he stayed healthy this season and put together the kind of year they're banking on. That's fair ball. And the bat boy touched the ball. The ball boy.
Look at, he's going to roll it down the line. Oh, sorry, here, I'll roll it on down there.
Go ahead, give it away and act like you never caught it.
And Scott Rowland not happy with the call at third base. He thought the ball was foul.
Tell you, that young man is cool under pressure right there. I mean, he knows he made a mistake, but you know what? He's acknowledging it. I mean, it would have been a double anyway. Doesn't make any difference.
I thought it was foul.
So did he.
So did Scott. But neither one of them count. The only one that counts is Chad Fairchild, third base umpire. With the speed of Pence, you're right, Tom. He'd had a double no matter what.
Second time in as many innings the Astros have had a runner in scoring position. Bourne was out there with 2 away in the first inning. And now Pence with 1 out in the second for Jeff Blum. Reds have played Houston very well this year. That has not been the story the last couple of years leading up to 2009. In fact, the Reds have won as many games against Houston, 7 of them, this year as they did in 07 and 08 combined.
I don't know what it is playing against those guys, Tom, but I know when I was here with the Reds, we had the most difficult time beating the Astros, even when they came to our own ballpark. I don't know what it was. I mean, it wasn't like they were in first place.
You know the one thing about Houston, though, an organization that's only been to 1 World Series. They've never won a World Series. But they have always had, by and large, pretty good teams.
Yeah.
You know, for a long time. That one nearly hit Blum. In fact, it did. May have gotten a portion of his jersey. So there's a mistake by Bronson on a 1-2 pitch.
Well, Bronson wanted this ball in on his hands, But as a lot of hitters do, and you'll see this time and time again, especially against Arroyo, left-handed or right-handed, hitters are diving out to that outside part of the plate, trying to make sure they get on that off-speed pitch from Arroyo. He had thrown Blum a changeup a pitch earlier, and if you're Jeff Blum, you want to get out there and make sure you make contact with that changeup instead of letting it just go by.
So 2-1 for Humberto Quintero. That's a fair ball. And they'll start at second and get it out there. And or wait a minute, they saying foul ball now? Apparently they are.
Wow. Trying to figure out why that would be a foul ball. The ball came off the bat. Maybe it hit Quintero in the batter's box. No.
Man, having a hard time understanding that.
I don't get it. Well, I think what they're saying is that it hit his foot, the instep of his foot when the ball went down. But we saw the play from Bronson Arroyo's angle, and the ball didn't hit his instep of his foot. It hit the dirt.
0-1 to Quintero, and a breaking ball fooled him badly.
Those are the kind of plays that you give an extra out and you hope it doesn't come back to haunt you. Pitch right there.
One on strikes is Quintero, and that's 3 of those early on for Bronson Arroyo.
The breaking ball from Bronson Arroyo, it starts on the plate and ends up off the outside corner. And not only does that ball have some right to left movement, but it also has some top to bottom movement. And Quintero just swings right over the top of it.
So now Wandy Rodriguez with 2 on and 2 out. Rodriguez 7 hits in 56 at bats this season, has 4 RBIs. Well, he's got that breaking ball working tonight indeed.
He really does. And I really believe, Tom, that his breaking ball works even better now that he has that good confidence on the ball that's on the inside part of the plate, because he really doesn't have to be so perfect with the breaking ball away now, because guys just can't afford to reach out there and just slap it anymore.
Fastball there, fouled away, and Arroyo ahead of Rodriguez at no balls and 2 strikes.
Bronson keeps almost every right-hander honest sometime during the at bat, whether it's a fastball down and in for a strike or whether it's a fastball up at their hands, and they may pop that pitch up in the air. But if you catch yourself leaning out over the plate to try to hit that breaking ball, you're either going to crack your bat or you're going to get struck out looking, and you don't want to do that.
So now Arroyo trying to put away Wandy Rodriguez and end this Houston threat in a scoreless game in the 2nd inning, and that pitch misses up and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That's another one of those pitches he's come up with in the second half, that sidearm high fastball against righties and lefties.
Rolling to short, Giannis the force out at second, and that will retire the side. So the Astros leave a pair. Reds come to bat, no score in Cincinnati. On Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. By JTM, Food Family Fun, JTM. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Jeep. Get to your Jeep dealer today for some of the best deals of the year. Look along the mighty Ohio and into the Commonwealth of Kentucky here at Great American Ballpark. The Reds are coming to bat in the bottom of the second inning against Wandy Rodriguez. No score. Boy, it looks nice, doesn't it?
Oh. Beautiful this time of the year.
Sure is. Scott Rowland tonight playing in his 25th game as a Red since coming over from Toronto. A .267 batter, a couple of home runs, and 11 runs batted in. Good breaking ball there by Rodriguez. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rowland to be followed by Johnny Gomes and Darnell McDonald. Two and 2 to Rowland, and we'll do it again. You know, we wondered about Juan Francisco and really how much playing time that young man after being activated before the game today. As you may know, Louisville was eliminated from the playoffs last night in the decisive game in that best-of-5 series. There's a slow roller up to third, barehanded by Blum. He throws and he got him. Nice play by Blum. Of course, Rowland's been doing that to people for the better part of 15 years.
Not only a great play by Blum, but watch Rowland going down the line. I mean, this is a man, veteran player, full speed all the way down the line. We're not in the playoffs. We're not going to the playoffs, and Rowland is coming out of that box. This is what leadership does for you, and you don't have to say a word.
Now Johnny Gomes at .271, 19 home runs and 48 runs batted in. It's hard to believe that Gomes is second on the team in home runs, tied for second with Brandon Phillips. He's third on the team in RBIs, and he leads the team in slugging percentage. He has put together a very nice year in really not much playing time.
He really has, Tom, and I think a lot of that is the insides of Johnny Gomes, knowing that he started the season in AAA. And I think that was a major hit to his pride. And the fact that he was let go by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, or non-tendered, whatever you want to call it. This guy's a baseball player, and he's got a lot left in him.
Strike 3 called. They're 2 away in the inning. It's 3 strikeouts on the night for Wandy Rodriguez. Our Geico direct quote of the game, Dusty Baker on the stretch run. If you're a pro, you don't want to accept losing, whether there's a lot on the line or nothing on the line. Dusty Baker.
He's right. This is the time of the year that a lot of scouts, a lot of people around baseball, your opponents on the other side of the field, they find out a little bit about you, whether it's character or what you're made of. There's a lot of folks at this point in time in the season, they'll mail it in a second just because they have nothing left. If you mail it in, I don't want to play with you.
And that's the thing. It is an absolute lose-lose situation for any player to allow that to happen.
You're right.
You lose the respect of your own team, even if you have a guaranteed contract for the next 5 years. The guys that are going to be playing with you, they'll never look at you the same again.
No, they will not.
And if you're a free agent to be, well, when those scouts are sitting in the stands from team X, Y, and Z, you think they're going to send a report back to the general manager, hey, we got to go get this guy?
I mean, if you have 40 home runs right now and you're on a team that's going nowhere and you just mail in the last month, I do not want you on my team. I don't want you in my foxhole. I want to face you because I know you're a quitter. That's simple. One pitch up and in, you quit.
2-1 to Darnell McDonald. That's grounded foul. So, Cowboy, I haven't seen you in a while. You had a good road trip. I know you in Atlanta. Obviously, you got a lot of family, a lot of friends that you have a chance to see down there. But what about Colorado and Chicago? Everything go okay for you?
Everything was great.
All right.
You know, it was a packed house in Colorado, packed house in Chicago. Atlanta was a little rough on me. I had my wife down there for my birthday, and there's a place called the Phipps Plaza across from the Ritz down there, and we went did a little shopping. My credit cards, I think they're still sweating from that trip. That put a little break on me, but you know, it was a fun time for me. I just wish the team would have played a little better. That's all.
Started out great.
Started out wonderful. Anytime you go into Atlanta and win like that, it's marvelous.
Gone swinging McDonald. That's 4 strikeouts in the game for Rodriguez. So both pitchers early on top of their game. No score. The Tundra here at the ballpark. If a player hits the sign in left center or the one in right center during tonight's game, Charles Lickens of Milford, Ohio will win it. Register for your chance to win during an upcoming game at your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Top of the order for the Astros, Michael Bourne against Bronson Arroyo in a scoreless game. Bourne singled, stole a base, and was stranded at second in the opening inning. He'll be followed by Matsui and then Lance Berkman. Arroyo with 3 strikeouts. He's allowed a couple of hits and hit a batter. All right, now Jim Day and Jeff Piccolo were talking during Reds Live. We're going to try to have a little fun, and we invite your participation as far as your favorite baseball movie. You know, what's your favorite all-time baseball movie? And the way we're going to do this, we have 16 candidates. We're going to break it, much like the Olympic trials, into 4 heats. So today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. The winners will advance to the final round, the final 4, if you will, on Friday night. So we begin tonight with heat number 1. You can also visit Fox Sports Ohio's Facebook page at facebook.com/Fox Sports Ohio. 3-2 now to Bourne. And you can comment on your favorite movie. We'll read some of those posts during Reds Live, the post-game version after the game tonight.
What if two of my favorites are in the same box?
Well, that sounds like a dilemma.
That I hang with them?
That's a nice play out there by Darnell McDonald. Got a great jump on that sinking liner the other way from Bourne. Good play.
Kind of like Bourne, hang with them.
All right, here we go. Heat number 1. Text 1 for damn Yankees. 2 for bang the drum slowly. 3 for Angels in the outfield. And 4, the big leader early on in the clubhouse, Robert Redford in the natural. Text your choice to 37664. Now, which group had 2 of your favorites?
The top right, Bad News Bears, and I'm trying to think of what the other one was. Bad News Bears.
Oh, hang on, they'll get it up for you. Hang on a minute. We'll find it.
There's a bunch of
refresh your memory.
Sandlot. Bad News Bears and Sandlot.
All right.
Because I watched Sandlot with my kids. They loved it.
Okay. But if you had to pick one in each of these categories, where are you going? Where are you going tonight?
Tonight, probably the natural.
Yep, the natural for sure.
That was the easiest one.
Yeah, by far. Nice play by Phillips, and there are 2 away in the inning. All right, let's put those back up there one more time. I want to hear your thoughts. We're going to be working together now the next couple of nights.
All right.
This is, Heat number 1.
Right.
Damn Yankee. Yeah, great music. I mean, great music. Bang the drum slowly. That's the Lou Gehrig story.
Right. But this thing with the natural, that was one of the first baseball movies I had ever seen, and I loved it.
Wonderful movie. And a big lead. But a long way to go.
But I will say this, there is one movie that was on that list there. Made the old cowboy cry.
Really?
Crushed me.
Here's Lance Burton. Well, which one was that?
It was as realistic as it will get. Well, I won't spoil it.
Well, you can tell me which one made you cry. I mean, you brought it up.
I'll tell you later.
Now everybody right now at home is saying, come on, which one is it? I guarantee you there's 3 or 4 of them in there that made me cry. I mean, I'm easy to get to cry when it comes to movies.
The one where I'm trying to think of the name of it now. You got me flustered.
I cried when Tatum O'Neal got married.
No, this was the one that
she's had some problems since then.
This was the one where the kid came back from the busted elbow, and he was the coach, and they wanted him to come back and play, and he had the babies. The Rookie.
I haven't seen that.
That was as realistic as I've ever seen a baseball movie.
Really?
And about 4 minutes into it, I busted and never got it back together. My daughter, she looked at me. She's like, "Daddy, are you okay?" I'm like, "No."
A 1-2-3 third for Brandon Phillips. On a nice play there. So Arroyo, his first perfect inning of the night. Well, this week, Fox Saturday Baseball brings you the National Game of the Week. Alfonso Soriano and the Cubs against Albert and the National League Central Division leading Cardinals. Can't we just call them champions of the Central already?
Tell you what, with the two guys they got, Wainwright and Carpenter, and then you add Pujols and Holiday and those guys, my goodness.
Well, Fox Saturday Baseball this week comes your way at 4 Eastern on Fox. Ryan Hannigan to begin things in the Reds' third inning of a scoreless game against Wandy Rodriguez. No runs, 2 hits for Houston. They've left 3 men on base. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left for the Reds. Hannigan, Arroyo, then back to the top in Drew Stubbs here in the third.
But if you're the Cubs and you're playing that ball club, your Cubs and the Cardinals, that's how you match up.
That's right.
Your payrolls are the same. You started out pretty much the same, except for Holiday, obviously. But you know that should be a pride game for the Cubs.
Oh yeah,
you know,
great rivalry,
because most of those Cubs that are on that team now, they're going to be there next year.
In the right field, it'll go to the wall. And this will be a leadoff double for Ryan Hannigan. And that's the way you like Bronson Arroyo to come to the plate with a runner at second and nobody out.
Got that right. Especially when he leads the team in sacrifice bunts. Fastball away from the left-hander. He stays right on top of it. And when I say on top of it, I'm not talking about pounding it into the ground. I'm just talking about staying behind the baseball, and you hit right even with the baseball, and you keep that bat flat all the way through the strike zone.
Arroyo tied for the 3rd most sacrifices in the league, and he'll add to that number. They're going to throw to third and have no chance. I mean, Wandy Rodriguez knew when he threw to third he had no chance.
I tell you what, that's a case of breaking off the mound and actually forgetting that you don't have runners at first and second. You only have a runner at second. He picks up the baseball. I guarantee you, he thought that all he had to do was get a force in the motion running to pick up the baseball. There's no force there. You got to tag him, otherwise you got no chance.
Well, that should be sacrifice number 14. And then a fielder's choice with Bronson Arroyo reaching safely over at first, and that's exactly how it will be scored.
Every player, Tom, as Stubbs comes to the plate, must know what to do with the baseball if it's hit to you. I don't care if you're the pitcher, catcher, wherever you are in the outfield. If you don't know what to do with the baseball, you're going to lock up like you just did. And that is a big mistake. Not an error on the board, but it sure looks like a big one.
Down low to Drew Stubbs, who walked leading off the game, was thrown out trying to steal second base. 2-0. So the Reds with runners on the corners and nobody out here in the third against Rodriguez. 3-0.
Having a tough time throwing strikes to Stubbs, isn't he?
Went 3-0 on him to start the game, threw a strike, then walked him on the 5th pitch. And here 3-0 again. 3-1.
Is this an instant replay?
We're about to find out.
Maybe he'll throw it in there and he'll whack it over.
I was going to say, I'm betting on him whacking one here. Wow. I kind of wonder what Stubbs is thinking about there.
Well, as a leadoff hitter, that's fine with nobody on. But with runners at first and third, you got to try to knock that thing through the pitcher that's out there, right back up the box and crush it. You're not in take mode.
Then you get a 3-2 breaking ball. You got a 3-1 fastball at 88 miles an hour right down the middle of the plate.
A rookie at bat that was terrible. This is not the pitch that struck you out, even though this is a great breaking ball. The pitch that struck you out was the fastball right down the middle of the plate, the pitch before on 3-1. That's when you got to come out of your shoes.
All right, so one away for Paul Yanich. Still Hannigan, who led off the inning with a double at third. Moved over on a sacrifice fielder's choice from Arroyo, who stands at first. Strike one to Yanich. He struck out looking his first time up. That is the one thing the Reds with Drew Stubbs have been trying to preach and preach and preach to this young man. They felt like that he took too many pitches. Too many good pitches, let's put it that way.
And he did it in AAA too. He had over 100 strikeouts before he was called up to the big leagues. He was leading that team as a leadoff hitter. Can't do that.
Double play ball here is going to get him out of the inning. Wow, missed chance there to say the least.
All goes back to that one at bat.
And the 3, no score. We're bringing you our Aflac trivia question. What was the name of Roy Hobbs' bat in that movie The Natural we were talking about a little while ago? As I recall, it had a lightning bolt across it, right? I don't know if that was the name.
I don't either. I think it was called something else.
Yeah, you're right. Because that little boy, that bat boy,
he used to talk to it like it was here's the something.
I'm going to think of it. I'm going to remember it.
Well, I'm not, because
So Carlos Lee, with Wonder Boy in hand, steps to the plate to lead off the top of the 4th inning.
You are the man.
Don't give it away. I just threw that in there.
You are the man.
See?
Can't help it.
I know. You know, I got camouflage on and you're wearing bright orange.
There you go.
Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball fouled away by Lee. No balls and 2 strikes.
You got to wear orange. I'm not going to get shot in the woods.
You're right about that. Cowboy, in your playing career, did you ever have a nickname for, you know, a glove? I wouldn't ask you about a bat unless we were going back to your days when you were swinging a bat at Mississippi State. But did you ever have a nickname for like a glove or any piece of equipment when you played? Really?
I did not.
Okay.
I didn't have. Never thought of that, actually. I just never believed in good luck charms.
1-2 to lead, to be followed in the Houston fourth inning by Miguel Tejada and then Hunter Pence. Through the hole in the left field, a base hit. That'll be hit number 3 tonight for Houston against Arroyo. Right, all the standings around baseball presented by Honda in the National League. 6.5 Philly over Florida in the East. Cardinals 9.5 better than the Cubs in the Central, and Colorado hanging in there for the Western Division lead, and a 4.5 game lead for the Rockies in the wild card. It should be noted, the Rockies and the Giants start a series tonight.
Never thought that the Rockies would get that close to the Dodgers, ever.
I don't think anybody did. I don't think the Rockies did. I mean, back on June the 3rd, they were 15.5 games out of first place.
Well, that is a major tribute not only to those players, but also to the fact that Jim Tracy has brought them together all in one fashion and one thing in mind, and that's winning.
You know, really, even though there's one more series left, you'd have to say that that series that begins tonight between the Rockies and the Giants is San Francisco's last gasp.
It is. They could wipe them off the map.
Hamill against Lincecum later tonight in San Francisco. 2-1 on Miguel Tejada.
I would venture to say that if the Rockies came out tonight and beat Lincecum, they could kiss the baby. That's their #1 guy, their man that they have counted on all year long. San Francisco, I'm talking about. The Rockies beat him, puts a major downer on the Giants.
2-1 to Tejada. Breaking ball has hit a ton but foul up the third base line, even a count.
Well, Tejada with 40 doubles. That's a whole lot of doubles. And especially with that short porch in left field at Minute Maid Park, he doesn't really try to pull the ball that way. He tries to hit the ball into the right center field gap, and that's where he's getting all his doubles from. Because if you hit that wall, you get a single. It bounces right back to the left fielder, and you get stuck.
The 40 doubles are tied for the most among all National Leaguers with Kung Fu Panda, Pablo Sandoval. There's ball 3, 3-2 to Tejada.
San Francisco Giant.
That's a great nickname, isn't it?
It is wonderful.
Kung Fu Panda.
The thing about it is he looks just like the comic.
That guy can hit.
Yes, he can hit.
Three and 2 on Miguel Tejada. Runner at first, nobody out. Runner goes in a broken bat roller. Roland charges, throws, and got him. Ball hit so slowly that Lee on the run easily advances on to second, 1 out in the inning.
Well, that's another inside pitch by Arroyo, and he comes in on the 3-2 count, looking out over the plate. That's what Tejada's doing. He's looking for a breaking ball or maybe a fastball away, and he comes in with a sinking, running fastball in on his hands, and he breaks his bat so bad he can't even hit it hard enough for the Reds to turn a double play.
Now Hunter Pence, he doubled up the left field line his first time up. Strike 1. Reds have 3 on this homestand against Houston. The Florida Marlins come to town for a 4-game series.
It seems like forever since we played Florida.
Well, it's been almost forever. You and I were down there in Florida together for only a 2-game series back on May the 4th and May the 5th. Reds will play their final road trip of the year beginning a week from tomorrow. 3 games in Pittsburgh, followed by 3 the following weekend. Now they have the runner caught. Lee in a rundown. Roland sends him back towards second and tags him out.
What is he thinking about? Bronson Arroyo does a spin move, takes his left leg and brings it straight back towards second base. Basically an inside move, just spinning around on the pivot foot, which is his right foot. And I'm not sure what Carlos Lee was thinking about. I think he thought maybe with Rolen playing so far back, he was just going to run right into second base or right into third base. Not on a veteran like Arroyo. Ouch.
So 2 are out in the inning. It's 0-1 on Pence. Slow breaking ball drops in there at 65 miles per hour.
That was almost a double clutch by Pence. It buckled him the first time, and then the ball wasn't there, and he was almost did like a crow hop to try to hit it like a softball swing.
Fly ball right center. Stubbs is there. The inning is over. 1 hit, nobody left. Middle of the 4th, still a scoreless game. All right, time to answer our Aflac trivia question. In the great movie The Natural, what was the name of Roy Hobbs' bat in that movie? And Cowboy already told you.
I didn't tell him.
Well,
I didn't say the name.
I could have blown right by that line, and very few people would have picked it up. And you're like, oh, that's it.
But you could say Cowboy messed it up.
Wonder Boy. No, you told him.
I didn't say anything. I just messed it up. I didn't know that's what you were doing.
Can you say that's a big old yes, sir?
Yes, sir.
It's been away, 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's been a while since I've heard you say that. I have my kids saying it like that. You know, we say yes, sir, and no, ma'am, and that kind of thing. We're trying to get into that pattern. I know a lot of people do. And, you know, Votto, fly ball to short right center, and a diving play is made by Michael Boyd.
That was
stayed in the air just long enough for him to run it down, and that guy can run.
That was a bad route by Michael Bourne. He goes back this way when in effect he should have just come straight across. Watch him as he breaks back, and then he's got to come back in. But that's what speed will do for you. So you make your kids. So you guys.
Well, you know, I just have them saying it like you say it, because you know they're big fans of the Cowboy.
Well, that's good.
And
so they like me.
You know, so instead of me saying, "Hey, well, would you like some more ice cream?" And instead of just saying yes, sir, they say yes, sir.
Or instead of just saying yeah.
Well, well, we're not going to get into that, because that would be completely unacceptable. That's not going to happen. So. I mean, but they've got it down.
That's good.
They'll look at me and they'll say, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very
nice.
Do you let him do that in public?
Well, of course.
Says I do. That's the only way I know how to say it. Yes, sir.
1-1 to Brandon Phillips, up and away, 2 balls and a strike. Brandon struck out his first time up. Wandy Rodriguez has fanned 5 in a game. This one a roller into short right field. Nice play by Matsui. And there are 2 gone in the inning. Well, Reds fans gear up for the new school year with Back to School Aid, presented by Fuel TV and Time Warner Cable. Text tonight's keyword Browning to 37664 and you can win a $150 cash card plus a Fuel TV prize package. For official rules and an alternate form of energy, go to foxsports.com/Ohio.
Another curveball to Roland, and that is awfully difficult to lay off on. You're looking for a pitch out over the plate. That curveball starts away and breaks all the way across the plate and then down and in. You start your swing, can't stop it.
One and 2 on Scott Roland.
Curveballs in, fastballs away.
Breaking ball down and in, even the count on Roland. He had a hit taken away on a nice play made by Jeff Blum. A weak roller in the infield grass. Blum came charging in. Roland was going as hard as he could go, but Blum scooped it up with a bare hand and threw him out. Still 2-2 to Scott Roland.
So difficult to keep your hands back long enough to stay on that breaking ball with 2 strikes, and yet he's painting. Wandy Rodriguez is on that outside corner with the fastball. You can see Quintero behind the plate. He'll take that mitt and rub it down in the dirt when he wants that ground ball.
Gone swinging is Roland, and the Reds are gone in order in the 4th. We march on to the 5th. Still a scoreless game. Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. both pitchers certainly delivering the goods here tonight. No runs, 3 hits for the Astros against Bronson Arroyo. No runs, 2 hits. 2 men left on base for the Reds against Wandy Rodriguez. Jeff Blum to lead off the 5th, and quickly behind 0-2. He'll be followed by Quintero and Rodriguez. Blum hit on a 1-2 pitch. It probably just got a piece of his jersey rather than hitting him anywhere in his body. His first time up. Weak pop up left side. Easy for Rowland. 1 away. Wait and see all the action and enjoy a perfect party atmosphere aboard the Cincinnati Bell Riverboat deck at Great American Ballpark. Panoramic views of the Ohio River and a ballpark. A 2-story outdoor party area. Straightaway center field. Great place. You and I have been out there many times.
Tremendous view.
Make your plans today calling the Reds Group Sales Department 513-765-7600.
Great view of the river and northern Kentucky, and then turn around and maybe a ball will be heading your way.
It really is such a nice part of this ballpark, and there are a lot of nice areas in the park. It's just a great ballpark, period.
Putting that out there was a phenomenal touch to the ballpark. It just gave it a, I don't know, being on the river just made it where it just was perfect.
Gone swinging Quintero. Second time that Arroyo struck him out. That's 4 on the night for Bronson, and 2 away in the 5th inning.
When you look at the scouting report for Humberto Quintero, does not like that pitch. That would be a slider. And let's see it again. Does not like slider. We re-emphasize that. And that's the second time tonight that he's missed 4 of them.
Now Rodriguez. He looked at a fastball strike. You know, a lot of people wonder that have never had the chance to go out there, getting back to the Cincinnati Bell Riverboat deck. Remember when the ballpark was built, you know, one of the knocks on the park was just that black, because of the batter's eye and straightaway center field. I mean, it looks like where Batman might live out there. And you know, then of course years later they added the riverboat looking decks above the hitter's backdrop. But a lot of people have asked me through time, you know, what's in that blackened area. And Cincinnati Bell not only has the 2 decks up top, but below our cameras there's really 2 levels, maybe 4 or 5 stairs you go up. And a lot of the great equipment, of course, at CBTS can show prospective clients. And they have you know, food that is served in there when they have the big parties out there. You could do it if you wanted to have one at home. It's very, very nice in there. And a great look at the ballpark.
Well, it's just it's a dual purpose facility, that whole area there from the bottom all the way to the top. And I don't know that you can go anywhere else at any other ballpark that you have something that has that unique of an ability to not only watch a ball game but perform some service at the same time. And you would think, being in dead center field way up like that, that it wouldn't be a good place to watch a game. It is great. You can see everything.
1-2. Slow breaking ball, and Arroyo thought that one might have been strike 3. Strike 3 to Rodriguez this time, and that'll take care of business. After 4.5, still no score. A little kid now live that dream at Reds fantasy camp. Don't miss out. The inaugural year in Goodyear, Arizona, the brand new state-of-the-art baseball complex, January 30th through February the 6th. For more information, visit reds.com/fantasy camp. Are you going there?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking about it.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get out there, right?
I'm going to go sooner or later.
Okay.
A lot of it depends on the children.
Call 1-800-755-REDS. Or again, reds.com/fantasy camp. I mean, really, if you're a part of the 2010 camp, you'll play on those fields before the major leagues. What a play down at third by Blum. Man, he's got a strong arm. Always has. Throws out Johnny Gomes by a couple of steps.
This is the kind of defense that allows you to have a whole lot of confidence in throwing the ball over the plate. When you get plays like that, whether it's from Blum, Tejada, Matsui, Berkman over at first base, or even one of your outfielders, as we saw Bourne dive for the ball earlier, that gives you a lot of confidence on the mound to just bring it in there.
Well, ever since the Reds had runners at first and third with nobody out in the third, they have not had a single runner reach base. Of course, Drew Stubbs struck out for the first out of that inning. And then Paul Yanish ended the inning on a double play. Rodriguez had a 1-2-3 fourth and one gone here in the fifth.
Well, you would like to say that at bat by Drew Stubbs there is a learning experience. You get back to the dugout and everybody and their brother over there says, hey, you got to swing at that pitch.
Little broken bat flare that'll fall in for Darnell McDonald. He has his first hit.
But the bottom line, Tom, is when you come to this level and you play here in the big leagues, you should not have to be told. Breaking ball coming to Darnell McDonald instead of going away from him, and he gets just enough of the bat on it to get it over the head of a leaping Tejada.
Hannigan doubled down the right field line his first time up. He's down, strike one this time.
When Hannigan has a runner on base or a runner in scoring position, his back shoulder seems to drop down a little bit, and it almost looks as though he's swinging up versus when he has nobody on base and he's just trying to get a base hit, where his shoulders stay flat and so does the bat.
There's one, and then Matsui unable to get the ball out of his glove. So that'll be a force out, handing it at first. 2 away in the inning. And the pitcher Bronson Arroyo coming up.
Darnell McDonald was going into second base like a lightning bolt. Probably a good thing he didn't get that ball out of his glove.
Arroyo had the sacrifice and then reached on the same play when Rodriguez tried to throw to third, where he had no chance to get the runner Ryan Hanigan. Strike one to Bronson. 6 hits and 53 at bats. One on, 2 out. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning of a scoreless game. And Arroyo takes a fastball high from Rodriguez. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And if you're Rodriguez here, all you're really trying to do is get the ball down in the strike zone and make Arroyo swing the bat. The worst possible thing that can happen here is you're walking.
Still 2-2 on Arroyo.
I'm not sure if I'm the Astros that I would tell Berkman to get behind Hanigan at first. Hanigan's going nowhere. Guess neither is Arroyo.
Still no score after 5.
Having some fun with some baseball movies this week. It's always a big discussion. What's the best baseball movie ever made? And we're doing this sort of like the NCAA tournament. Kind of seeded these, and you're going to have 4 nights of 4 movies against each other. There's the 16 movies we're going to do over the next 4 nights, and then the winners will face off on Friday. So there's your 16 right there. Here's tonight's contest. Damn Yankees versus Bang the Drum Slowly, Angels in the Outfield, and The Natural. Text your choices to 37664, 37664. Standard text message rates apply. Right now, The Natural with the lead, but still a chance for your voice to be heard. In fact, we're double dipping on this, not only via text, but you can post your comments on Facebook.com/Fox Sports Ohio, and your comment may be posted on Reds Live. So text away, people. We'll have the final results coming up on Reds Live post game. And again, tonight's winner will move on to the finals Friday night. So having a little fun, Tommy.
All right, Jimbo. Now, I got to ask you a question. ON1 to Michael Bourne.
Yes, sir.
I like the way you said that.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Do you think Sling Blade should have been on that list? Come on.
No, it's not a baseball
movie. No. Come on. Come on. Come on. Wait a minute. Don't say it yet, because I want the people at home to see you when you do it. So hold on a minute. ON2 to Bourne. Go ahead. Back to Jimbo. Jim, should Sling Blade have been on that list?
It's not a baseball movie, Tom. All right, Tim.
Oh, he's outstanding. Man of many talents.
We have to go back to that. I want everybody at home to. Do you think maybe we should have made an exception there, Jimbo, and put Sling Blade on that list?
Well, he did sort of swing that thing like a baseball bat, maybe.
That's good stuff.
Sounds just like
oh my God, I'm out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sounds just like him.
1-2 to count. High bouncer off the plate. Arroyo better get there. That extra bounce, and he still got him. Thought if it bounced again, he would not get him. But he made a nice play.
Well, this is when you've got a pitcher that throws sidearm as much as Arroyo does. That last little bounce normally, as Tom said, kills you. But for Arroyo, he throws sidearm so much that he can still get it and fling it on Novato in time.
So one away, and now it's Kaz Matsui. No score in the game. We're in the top of the 6th inning. Each team with 3 hits. Each team has put together a threat in the game. The Astros had a runner at second with 2 outs in the 1st inning, but their real threat came in the 2nd when they got a leadoff double, or a 1-out double, I beg your pardon, by Hunter Pence, and Jeff Blum was hit by a pitch, but Arroyo took care of the numbers 8 and 9 hitters to get out of that inning. But no bigger threat was posed in this game than what the Reds had working in the 3rd. Got a leadoff double by Hannigan, a bunt by Arroyo, who reached safely on the sacrifice. Reds had him on the corners with nobody out, and obviously failed to score.
Reds fans, for a great tasting meal and unbeatable value, pick up JTM Philly Kits. Burgers are delicious hoagies at your favorite grocer. JTM, food, family, and fun. These are the kind of hitters, talking about Kaz Matsui, that drive your pitch count to the moon. They continue to foul off the tough pitches. And you want to strike them out, and they keep fouling them off, and then you just, sooner or later, you just throw one in there and say, here, hit it.
And there it was. They threw it right by him.
He missed it.
6 strikeouts now for Bronson Arroyo.
Well, he had worked him away so much that when he does rear back and just say, all right, here's the fastball, that fastball's middle in, and it's right in the heart of the plate, just on the middle inside part. Matsui swinging on the, Matsui swinging outside, swing right over the top of the ball.
So 2 away in the inning. And here's Lance Berkman. It's ball 1 high. A quiet night so far for Berkman, and those have been few and far between during his visits over these many years to Cincinnati. Broken bat, and it's able to shoot past rolling into left field, a base hit. May have hit it off the end of the bat, had a funny sound when it made contact, but a hit for Berkman with 2 away.
You know, if you're playing him straight up, that ball is probably right to the shortstop Yanish. But very rarely do you see Berkman give up and go the other way. And you can see right here, he hits it right on the end of the bat. That's the funny sound you hear, and the crack of the bat. At least the bat died a hero.
So here's Carlos Lee. He struck out, single to left, was standing at second, you may remember, with 1 out in the 4th inning, and thought he could steal third. But Arroyo saw him out of the corner of his eye and threw right over to Roland, and they tagged him out.
Straight brain cramp. Just because the third baseman is playing way back doesn't mean he can't get there in time.
Lee waiting. Fastball, strike 1. The 6 strikeouts tonight for Arroyo, the most he's had over his last 9 starts. And here he is again doing what he has done, really going back to his start just prior to the All-Star break. It's when the team was in New York playing the Mets, and he shut them out over 9 innings. No shutout here tonight. Rounding third and on his way in is Berkman on a 2-out double by Carlos Lee. And it's 1-0 Astros here in the 6th inning. Guy's an RBI machine.
He really is, Tom, even with a guy at first base and the speed of Lance Berkman. But this pitch is out over the plate, and for Carlos Lee, he gets a great swing on the baseball, and even with the speed of Stubbs, he can't cut that ball off, and that ball goes all the way to the wall. He hit it in the perfect spot for Berkman to make it all the way around. And even as old as Berkman is, and as long as he's been around, look at this guy go.
Yep.
Full speed from first all the way home, and that puts him on top.
But Tad's as good as he's run in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Lost a little bit of that weight that he had started to put on the last couple of years. Running very, very well.
You score from first on any ball, you have done well. I don't care who you are. That's a long way to go. Give him a little oxygen there.
There's a base hit into center field off the bat of Miguel Tejada. They're going to hold Lee at third. Wow.
I would say that's a pretty good move there by the third base coach for the Houston Astros. I think if they send him there, we got action at home plate. Dave Clark, I've known him a long time.
Yeah, good man.
Played against him when he was with the Pirates, and from Jackson, Mississippi. Played against him in college when he was at Jackson State. That's been a long time ago.
Good guy.
He made a good decision there because Stubbs came up with a bullet to the cutoff man in Vada.
Clark never an everyday player in the major leagues, but he had some good seasons in the major leagues.
He was always the kind of guy that I ended up facing at the end of the ball game. They were looking for a home run, and I was looking for an out. You didn't want to leave one over the heart of the plate because he could hit it a long one.
Runners on the corners. Houston a 1-0 lead. They put together 3 straight 2-out hits. And it's strike 1 to Hunter Pence.
You see these 2-out rallies and you just think, just keep the train moving. If you're on the offensive side, if you're on the defensive side, you have to be thinking in your head, if you're Arroyo, I'm only 1 pitch away from getting out of this thing.
Tejada at first, Lee over at third. Astros a 1-0 lead here in the top of the 6th inning. A ball and a strike on Hunter Pence. Fastball and fouled off. 1-2.
A lot of hitters come to the plate in this situation and think, all right, I'm really going to hit one out of here right now. They get a big three-run blast. The chances of you getting a pitch in the heart of the plate right now are not very good. The chances of you walking are better than getting a pitch in the heart of the plate, because the pitcher is trying to make a solid pitch on every pitch.
1-2 on Pence.
Pretty good 3, 4, 5 these guys got running out there. Berkman, Lee, and Tejada.
Pence ain't bad in a 6 hole.
That's what I was going to say. This guy is good on the backhand.
Checks his swing. Did he go? They appeal, and Tim Wilkie says no.
Well, this is where Arroyo wants to make his pitch. He doesn't want to give Tejada a chance to take off with a 3-2.
Straight away center field. Stubbs backing up at the track with room in front of the wall, and the inning is over. 3 hits and a run. Middle of the 6th. The Astros have taken a 1-0 lead. Sixth inning, and now it's time for the Coors Light freeze cam. Sliding catch made by Darnell McDonald, and you get a great look. Our great camera crew, he did indeed make the play. Michael Bourne did the same on a fly ball off the bat of Joey Votto. Our Coors Light freeze cam is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. So top of the order for the Reds, down a run. It's 2 balls and a strike to Drew Stubbs. He'll be followed by Paul Yanish and then Joey Votto. Reds need to get something, anything going here against Rodriguez. And that's a ground ball to Matsui to begin the inning.
When we talk about pitching inside, it's not always about trying to get a strikeout. Watch this pitch from Bronson Arroyo. This pitch is right up there, right near the top of the hands of Hunter Pence. And as he gets up in there, well, the next pitch is not exactly a great slider down and away, but what it does do is it keeps Pence from taking a hanging breaking ball and hitting it way out of the ballpark. That ball was a fly ball to center field. If you don't go in on the pitch before, it's probably a home run. This game has been just as we thought it would be. Pitch for pitch from the beginning all the way till now. A pitcher's ball game.
Well, not only do you have two pitchers having good years, you have two pitchers that for the better part of 2 months, really 2.5 months,
been on their game,
have been two of the top 4 or 5 pitchers in the entire National League. Told you Arroyo going back to the beginning of July, an ERA at 2.1. And Rodriguez going back to the start of July has made 13 starts, 11 of which he has allowed the opponent 1 run or less. 1-2 to Giannis. So you have good pitchers on great roles with great confidence right now. It's a pretty good combination.
It really is, and that confidence word is not the easiest thing to come by. But when you start putting start on top of start, it starts to get things rolling in the right and proper way. You start to believe in every pitch that you throw. You start to believe that the hitters that are on the other side, even though you respect those hitters, you don't think they can get a hit off of you. And that confidence exudes to the folks that are around you, namely the guys that you're pitching with. As you've seen, the Reds pitchers over the last 10 to 15 ball games have thrown the ball pretty well.
Fouled away by Giannis, still 2-2. Pulled into left field. A 2-out single by Giannis. So the tying run aboard, the go-ahead run, Joey Votto coming up. Like Mega $1 Million jackpot tonight, up to $38 million. Buy a ticket today.
That last fastball to Giannis was up just enough to where he could get the bat through there on a flat swing plane. A lot of times when it's down, he'll dip that back shoulder trying to get to it and either hit a ground ball or pop it up. And you see where that pitch is. It's about belt high and it's middle in. All Giannis has to do is spin the hips and drop the hands.
Oh, and 1 to Votto. Breaking ball away. Joey with 21 home runs, 70 runs batted in, 1 for 2 tonight. And a line drive into center field, a base hit in the opening inning. And Michael Bourne made that diving play to take away a second hit in the 4th. Borderline strike there. Votto's certainly a legitimate question for Bill Welke.
Well, when you're throwing strikes all night long, you're going to get that kind of call. And that was probably off the plate a good inch, 2, maybe 3 or 4. But both pitchers have been throwing strikes from the time they walked out there. And you can see the breaking ball from Rodriguez. We talked about Yellowhammer earlier, giving you not only the name but also the derivation of where it came from. Left-handed pitchers, he doesn't use that. He doesn't break that ball straight down. He tries to start it at the hitter's hip and break it straight across.
Double play ball the way here. Tejada handled it himself, and a throw is high, and missing the tag is Berkman. So the Reds get a 4th out in this inning.
Well, Berkman is saying that he still tagged him even though the ball was high. But the first base umpire, Tim Welke, is saying, nope, you didn't tag him. And it sure looked like he did. So the Reds catch a break. Maybe they can make it happen here a little bit with 2 outs. And we'll see what Brandon Phillips has in store for us.
Phillips in the game has struck out swinging and had a potential hit taken away in that 4th inning on a diving play made by the second baseman Matsui out in shallow right field. Phillips trying to give the Reds a 1-run lead with that swing. Strike one.
When the Astros put their runs together, or put their hits together with the 2 outs, Berkman, Lee, Tejada, all hits in a row. 3 hits in a row got them a run. And the same thing, unless you're going to hit the ball out of the ballpark, is going to have to happen for the Reds. Whether it's 2 outs, 1 out, whatever it is, you've got to string hits together in order to get the run to home plate.
0-2 now to Brandon Phillips. Rodriguez has the strikeout pitch working tonight. 7 of them already. Make it 8.
Yellowhammer, that's what that was. Straight down.
Like a yellowhammer bird in Great Britain after its insect prey.
Rodriguez throwing his breaking ball. Most of the time he's got his thumb underneath the breaking ball and he turns it straight over the top, as we saw him when he struck out Brandon Phillips. To Joey Votto and to the left-handers, it's a different story. He slides that thumb up a little bit, and what it happens is, instead of the fingers rolling over the ball, they come to the side, and it makes the ball break laterally instead of straight down.
That was big league. Nice.
Here's the strikeout to Brandon Phillips. As Tom said, the yellowhammer.
Well, you said it.
Yeah, I said it, but you gave me the definition of the bird. And all he's really doing is changing the thumb from being underneath the baseball to the side, which allows his fingers to come through the baseball, but he doesn't wrap over the top of it. And that's the biggest key. You keep your same grip, you still throw your same pitch, but you just slide your thumb from one place underneath to the side of the baseball, and that's what makes the big key.
Popped up left side of the infield. Rolling in fair territory for the first out here in the 7th. A 1-0 game. 1 run, 6 hits for Houston. No runs, only 4 hits for the Reds against Wandy Rodriguez. And Arroyo has pitched another great game here tonight. The next pitch for Bronson, the 104th of the night. But for him, that's not even breaking a sweat. Tonight, Arroyo's 30th start of the year. He came into the game with 182 innings pitched. In the air, short left field, and they're quickly 2 away. Arroyo has produced at least 30 starts and 200 innings in each of the last 4 years, and trying to become one of only a handful of pitchers to throw 200 innings or more in each of the last 5 seasons. Dan Herron of Arizona has already reached that number. The others right on the cusp. Mark Burley of the White Sox, Javier Vasquez of Atlanta, Andy Pettitte of the Yankees, and Roy Oswalt of the Astros. Now you talk about Durham, and of course when you're talking about pitchers, that is such a huge part of earning their money when you're working once every 5 days. You look at Arroyo and all the innings piling up since he was acquired by the Reds in 2006. Leads all major league pitchers in starts and all National League pitchers in innings pitched. Everybody, not just the Reds, everybody in the league.
I can assure you that is a subject that Arroyo takes seriously. It is a goal for him every year to pitch over 200 innings and to take the ball at least 35 times. That's what he wants.
Pulled into right center field. Stubbs is there and the inning is over. So Arroyo perfect in the 7th. Still 1-0 Houston, in time for the 7th inning stretch, presented by Cincinnati Bell. Dealer in the Ford F-150 2009 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. By Aflac, we've got you under our wing. By your Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Honda dealers, visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com. And by McDonald's of Greater Cincinnati. Well, don't forget tomorrow night, Tuesday night, September the 15th, Bark in the Park is back. The first 10,000 pet owners receive a free food bowl. And while you're at the game, make sure to check out the Reds Dog Zone for product samples and activities. To get more information and reserve your seats for Reds Bark in the Park, visit reds.com/dogday. Had a great time the last time we had the dog in the park. Sold out all the tickets. A great night and another in store, I'm sure, mañana. So come on down. Weather's supposed to be great again tomorrow.
I dropped that mañana on my son the other day, and I had to explain to him that meant tomorrow in Spanish, my boy.
Nice. And as Jimmy Buffett once said, please don't say mañana if you don't mean it.
You got it.
Here's Scott Rowland. Reds down 1-0. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning, the Reds have action in their bullpen for the first time tonight. The left-hander Arthur Rhodes beginning to crank it up. Arroyo spot due up 5th here in the inning. No action in the Houston pen. Rodriguez has thrown 104 pitches in the game and has shut the Reds out on just 4 base hits. 3-2 to Rolen. Scotty 0 for 2 has bounced to third and struck out. And that's a leadoff walk. Good way to get it started for the Reds. That's the first batter that Rodriguez has walked since, issuing a pass to Drew Stubbs, leading off the game.
Maybe Wandy's getting a little weary.
Now all of a sudden the Astros have some action in their bullpen.
Sammy Gervasio,
right-hander. Boy, has he pitched well since being brought up from the minor leagues. Man.
and I would say that, Tom, for the most part, when you get an opportunity, whether it's a call up in August or a call up in September, or a call up period, that you should treat it as such that it may be your only time that you get called up. And if you want the big league managers or anybody else, even the opponents, to see what you can do at the big league level, you better make the most of it. And Gervasio, I would say he's done that.
Talking about a young man who has pitched in over 265 minor league games.
You can't say that he's not groomed to pitch out of the bullpen.
2-0 to Johnny Gomes, and there's a breaking ball in there, strike. Gomes has swung the bat so well, particularly here at Great American Ballpark. You know he's looking for something to hammer right here and right now. And that's a fair ball down the left field line. On his way to third is Rolen. They're going to hold him there on a double by Gomes, and the Reds have action in the seventh.
Well, this, Tom, you hit the nail on the head with Gomes. Look at these eyes right here. Johnny Gomes is flat out locked in on Wandy Rodriguez. Here comes the pitch. Bam! Right down the line. He hit that ball about as hard as you can hit it. Now, I don't know that he was trying to hit it there. I think he was trying to hit it up into the seats. But nevertheless, the Reds have runners at second and third, and the guy loves to hit with the game on the line.
So you have the tying run at third, the go-ahead run at second with nobody out. And it looks like the night is over for Wandy Rodriguez. We've already had a visit from the pitching coach. Now it's the manager, Cecil Cooper. But another outstanding start for Rodriguez. 6+ innings, allows 5 base hits, walks 2, fans 8. Our skyline call to the bullpen brings on Sammy Gervasio. Well, don't forget, $2 Hall of Fame admission during the Reds and Astros series for the next 2 nights here at Great American Ballpark. Mention Fox Sports Ohio when you're at the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, and you get a $2 admission to see the great Crosley Field exhibit and much more. So stop on by and mention Fox Sports Ohio, and you're in business. Sammy Gervaccio is only 24 years old. A product of the Astros Dominican Academy, was signed as a 17-year-old back in 2002, and boy, has he had unbelievable minor league seasons. This year was the first year he struggled at Round Rock, but they bring him to the major leagues, and in 16 games he has a 0.69 ERA. He is rated as having the best slider in the Astros organization. And here's a major league debut of the highly touted young Red, Juan Francisco. In there, strike one.
Throw him in the fire.
27 home runs, 93 runs batted in, and a .295 hitter this year between Carolina and Louisville. 0-2 on Juan Francisco, and there's that slider by Gervaccio.
And I think this is the place where you want Francisco to hit. This is where he performs at his best when runners are in scoring position. Well, he's there right now.
We're down 0-2 in his first major league at bat. Runners at second and third, and nobody out. Had a fastball there and fouled it away. Spent almost the entire year at Double-A Carolina. Francisco was promoted to Louisville really for the final 3 weeks of the year. We saw him in spring training, and of course last winter set the all-time winter league ball record in the Dominican Republic for home runs by a player.
That is saying something, because every Dominican player that you've seen here in the big leagues has been through that league. Just watching him in spring training, Tom, he has as good a swing and as good an idea as any other big league hitter that you're going to see. It's just a matter of time.
Francisco just turned 22 years old at the end of June. Last 2 years make it 3 years in a row if you include this season. He's knocked in 90 or more runs in a minor league year. 2-2. Told you 95 of them, 93 of them this year. 92 last year in Sarasota, and 90 the year before in Dayton.
That doesn't happen a whole lot. When you compare the two, you're really taking a month away from the minor leaguers. When you say 95 RBIs or 90 RBIs period, you're doing that in a 5-month season. You don't have 6 months like you do up here. Everybody says, okay, well, you got 100 RBIs in the big leagues. Well, this guy's almost got 100 RBIs in a month less. That's getting on it.
Oh, yeah. Runners at second and third, nobody out. Reds down a run. 2-2 pitch, struck him out on the slider. Well, that's a nasty pitch.
Yes, it is. What makes this slider so tough? It goes straight down and it is short. You can barely see the break on the break ball, on the breaking ball. Straight down, very little break to it at all. But then again, that's the kind of breaking ball that you want. The ones that you see that are the big benders that look so great on TV, those are the ones that the guys hit in the river. Because if you can see it, so can the hitter.
Well, now another pinch hitter going to be sent to the plate. Kevin Barker will bat for Ryan Hannigan. So every time we've seen this guy going back to spring training, well, they're going to intentionally walk him. I'm starting to say it seems like every time we see this guy come up with a chance to knock in a run. Runner at third, less than 2 men out. Runner at second, 1 out. He knocks him in.
He does. He really does.
This guy has had outstanding minor league seasons. Has really never gotten a chance at all to do much at the big league level.
The reason that he has been able to do that, Tom, I really believe is because he's not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark every time he comes to the plate. He will take a pitch and drive it the other way. If you give him a pitch that's middle in, he'll hit it out of the ballpark. But for the most part, he likes the ball, or he's going to make the adjustment to the ball that's out over the plate as we see Jay Bruce coming to the plate.
Wow. So Dusty Baker here using Juan Francisco in his major league debut. The runners at second and third. In the 7th inning, team down a run, and now he'll bring Jay Bruce off the bench.
Well, this is the game. I mean, for the Reds anyway, you've got your best opportunity to score yet.
Well, as soon as this move was made, you knew what Cecil Cooper was going to do. Bruce has been on the disabled list since the 11th of July when he suffered a fractured right wrist diving for a ball at New York City Field. Played in 10 games for Louisville. Only had 7 hits and 33 at bats. And he's going to be facing a left-hander out of that Houston bullpen, Wesley. Well, for the first time since early July, Jay Bruce back in a Reds uniform in a big league game. Here's that play on July the 11th when he fractured the right wrist trying to make that sliding play in a game in New York against the Mets. Reds are down 1-0. Bases loaded, 1 out. Wesley Wright comes on from the Houston bullpen to face Jay Bruce. 1 out in the inning. Ball 1 up and in.
Tommy's hitting 183 against left-handed pitching, but yet I find it hard to believe, but this is what the stats say. He's only had 1 at bat with the bases loaded, and he got a hit in that at bat.
Bouncing ball that'll trickle into right field, a hit. 1 run will score. Here comes the lead run. Here comes the throw. Reds have the lead 2-1. And welcome back to the major leagues, Jay Bruce.
Well, I guess now he's got 2 hits with the bases loaded. Thank you very much. A breaking ball that stayed up in the strike zone. A lot of times you'll see a left-hander pull off of that and pop it up. Bruce just jerks it through the right side. I don't care how you get it done, Tom. When the bases are loaded, it's just a matter of getting it done.
And he got it done.
Period.
So the Reds have their first lead tonight. A 2-1 game. Runners on the corners with 1 out. Yeah. Jay Bruce is back and happy to be back. We talked to him before the game.
It bats, more experience, just hopefully finish up strong. That's the plan, and help these guys win games.
Do you think you had the option of not coming back till next year, or did you want to come back?
No, there was never an option, especially for me. I mean, I'm planning on getting back as quickly as I could, and, here I am now, and now we'll go and see what happens.
Well, a great way to come back. Jay Bruce against a left-hander, Wesley Wright, stepped up there with the bases loaded and 1 out, and his team down a run, and all of a sudden that base hit gives him a 1-run lead.
All of these guys you see coming to the plate, Francisco, Barker, Bruce, and now Stubbs. I guess you could say that's why Louisville didn't win, because they're all up here.
You're right about that. Jeff Fulcino takes over on the mound for Houston through a scoreless 9th inning in their game yesterday against the Pirates. Has 6 wins out of the bullpen in 51 games and a very good ERA. He's had a good year.
His last 5 times out, he hadn't given up a run. And Tom's 51 ball games, as you said, and he's got 70 innings to go with it. 236 opponents batting average. For the most part, I'd say this cat's been getting it done.
1-1 to Drew Stubbs. 2 runs are home, 2 are on, only 1 out. One and 2 to Stubbs, who is hitless in 2 at-bats. He's also drawn a walk and been thrown out trying to steal a base.
And this is a part of the ball game where we were talking about earlier. You're not really trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. You're not trying to do anything special. Drive the ball back up the middle, try to hit the ball hard, get a ball down in the strike zone that you can hit and hit hard.
Cecil Cooper has used 4 pitchers here in this 7th inning, and the Reds have only sent 5 men to the plate. This being the 6th. And Stubbs strikes out again.
Had a fastball in on the pitch before, but this is a breaking ball that's dead away. And Stubbs tries to reach for it, thinking it's a fastball. Ends up being a breaking ball and a strikeout with runners in scoring position. Looked like he was just a little over anxious in that situation.
Now Giannis fooled badly on that first pitch. A breaking ball from Fulchino.
That looked like a backup slider from Fulchino there. He is definitely throwing breaking ball after breaking ball. And the thing for Paul Giannis is that's the scouting report on him, throwing nothing but breaking balls because he's a fastball hitter. Stay away, stay down with the fastball, and feed him as many breaking balls as you can.
Reds with a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Runners on the corners and 2 around. 1 and 1 to Giannis. And he tries to bunt his way on, pops it in the air and fouls it out of play.
When you know a guy is throwing you nothing but breaking balls and you can't hit them, that's why you do something like that.
One popped up to the right side. The inning is over. But the Reds scored twice. And we go to the 8th inning. Bronson Arroyo in line for a win now. The bullpen can nail it down. Look at our Chrysler game summary. Both pitchers on top of their game early on. No debate about that. Both Bronson Arroyo and Wandy Rodriguez. Reds had a scoring chance. Runners on the corners. Nobody out in the 3rd. Failed. With a strikeout and a double play ball, Carlos Lee broke a scoreless game with a 2-out double to right center. Well, then Jay Bruce, his first game back since the 11th of July. A pinch hit 2-run single. And you're up to speed 2-1 as we move to the 8th inning. And a couple of changes for the Reds. Jay Bruce stays in the game to play right field. Corky Miller takes over for Ryan Hannigan behind the plate. Johnny Gomes, by the way, now playing left field. So the night is over for Darnell McDonald. Of course, they hit for him a moment ago. And taking over on the mound is Arthur Rhodes. There's a base hit into center field off the bat of Michael Bourne. So the tying run aboard just like that in the Houston 8th. Been a great year for Arthur Rhodes.
It really has, Tom. Without Rhodes and Cordero and David Weathers earlier this season after being traded away, those three guys really performed well at the end of the bullpen. At one time, the best bullpen in both leagues, not just the National League, but in the whole major leagues. Now they're trying to get both Rhodes and Massett to kind of fill that spot that is now left as a void from David Weathers being gone.
Here's Matsui. They're going to ask him to bunt the runner along, and he'll get the job done. Well, he can't roll it out there any better than that. So the tying run in scoring position, and we talked about the heart of this order. 3, 4, 5, 6. Berkman, Lee, Tejada, Pence. Pretty good.
The whole key for me, though, Tom, goes back to having Michael Bourne hitting at that 290 something clip at the top of the order.
No doubt.
When you have him on base, especially where he is right now at second base, it makes Berkman, Lee, and Tejada way better hitters. They lock in. They know there's money out there, which is an RBI, and they are going to make sure that they do whatever they can to get that run home. They are tough outs right now.
Nick Massett getting ready for Carlos Lee next. They're going to leave in Rhodes, forcing Berkman to bat from the right side. Clearly his weaker side.
Yes.
And should they retire him, well, real good chance we see Nick Massett. There you see the numbers. That's batting as a left-handed hitter, not against left-handed pitching. That's against right-handed pitching. 214 is a right-handed batter. One and two. Berkman in his career has faced Arthur Rhodes 4 times and is hitless.
Well, he has a much quicker bat from the left side than he does from the right side. He hits fastballs, to me, better from the left side. From the right side, he seems to be able to be a guy that can lift the ball much more.
Wow. Very close.
Well, Arthur trying to get that ball in after they swung late on the fastball, and it looks like it just cuts right at the last second. Tell you what, Corky Miller knows how to catch a baseball and make it look like a strike, even when it's not.
They're trying to go in there again, and it was left out over the plate a bit. 2-2 to Berkman.
Well, I don't think that Rhodes wants to walk Berkman here when he knows he's going to overpower him with the fastball. And I think the thing about it is you got to get him to swing the bat in order to come back with a breaking ball.
Foul ground for Votto with room, and that's his second out of the inning. Big out for Arthur Rhodes. And now Dusty Baker springs out of the first base side dugout and makes his way to the mound. One would assume this will be for right-hander Nick Massett, and it is. So Rhodes gets a couple of outs, allows a hit. Tying run in scoring position in the 8th. Back in a moment. We know the kind of year Nick Massett has had. He, along with Arthur Rhodes, David Weathers when he was here, Francisco Cordero, that quartet has been mighty good. Now you look at right-handed batters hitting .203 against Massett. Heck, the lefty's only hitting .212. How about those numbers for Lee? Mighty good against both.
Well, that's why he hits in the spot that he hits in, which is right in that number 4 slot between Tejada and Berkman. This guy is a tough out, period.
Of course, you know, you get into the whole debate. It's one of the great things about baseball, and it's a legitimate question. First guessing, not second guessing, but certainly just presenting the options. You have a proven RBI machine in Lee. You have a base open, but if you put a guy like him on, you are putting on the go-ahead run. In the air, straightaway center field, room for Stubbs, and all that for naught as Massett gets the job done. So, Astros scoreless in the 8th. The Reds still lead by a run. Take a look at this play by Blow. That's nice. Just did get Scott rolling. Of course, how many thousands of times in his career has Rolen made that same play?
Oh,
literally thousands.
Exactly. What makes that play so great is the fact that everybody involved in the play did everything that they could possibly do. And that's why it ends up being a bang bang play.
Reds bat in the bottom of the 8th inning. Fulcino still on the mound. One of the 4 pitchers used by manager Cecil Cooper in that 7th inning when the Reds came back to take this 1-run lead. 1-1 to Joey Votto.
Now the best part about this whole issue right now, even though it's only a 1-run lead, is the fact that Bronson Arroyo actually for the first time in a long time is in line for a win after coming out of a ball game. And he was close to not getting that had they not got the 2 runs across. Cordero up in the Reds bullpen. He'll be the next face you see out there on the mound as long as things stay the way they are, unless the Reds put a 5 spot on him. Might see him anyway.
1-2 to Votto, and it's up high. You know, let me ask you about that, though. You know, you were a former great closer in your day.
I would say great.
Well, no. There was a time when you were great.
I don't know about that.
So if you're a guy closer, which you were, and you're down there getting loose right now, and you hear people like me and a lot of other people talk all the time, you know, you get a guy hot, you want to bring him in a game, that whole scenario. If what you just said happened, where Cordero's up right now, he's hot, he's getting ready, adrenaline's flowing, he's locked in, ready to come in and save a game, but the next thing you know, the Reds score 3 or 4 runs here, where it's no longer a safe situation. What was your feeling about that? Should you come in, or not bring in because it's kind of like a wasted out?
Well, the way that I look at it is, I'm the guy that's responsible for finishing a ball game when it's close. That's what I'm getting paid for. Saves are part of the statistic. Now, if the Reds start to score a lot of runs early, and all of a sudden it's let's say it's 5-1, and there's only 1 out on the board, then I would say, yeah, I wouldn't mind sitting back down and having somebody come in the ball game and finish the ball game. But as long as it's a 3 or 4 run lead, I want to come in.
No, I understand a 3-run lead, Park, because that's still a safe situation.
Right. But I'm saying 3 runs. I'm saying if they scored 3 runs and made it 5-1, or 4 more runs and made it 6-1, I still want to come in the game.
Okay.
Now, if we score a bunch of runs and you got time to easily get another guy up, then yeah, go ahead and do it. And the reason that I say that is, as long as it's still a ball game and things are close and it's not just a blowout, my adrenaline's still rolling. And as long as my adrenaline's rolling, I want to come in the game. But if you get to the point where the inning takes forever and all of a sudden it's 6 runs, 7 runs, 8 runs, I don't want to come in there because I've lost my adrenaline.
Is this home run number 20 for Brandon Phillips? It is. So for 3 straight seasons, Brandon Phillips, the first Red ever, goes 20-20-20 in 3 consecutive years. 20 or more homers, 20 or more stolen bases, 20 or more doubles. And more importantly, it's a 3-1 lead.
Well, that's a great accomplishment for Brandon Phillips individually, and this is where the individual meets the team goal. Individually, it's a phenomenal task that Brandon Phillips has just accomplished, but even more so, it gives Francisco Cordero an insurance run at the end of this game. Breaking ball that broke its head, but not a whole lot, and Phillips got the bat head on it, and see you later.
Furthermore, as far as Reds history is concerned, for Brandon Phillips, he becomes only the 2nd Red with 3 consecutive 20-20 seasons. Eric Davis had 5 in a row, and Brandon Phillips now with 3. So a lot going on. The 20-20-20 note we gave you earlier. Vada Pinson did it back-to-back years twice in his career. Likewise for the Hall of Famer Joe Morgan. And now Brandon Phillips, the first Red ever to do it 3 straight years. Roland drives one into right, but Pence will have room. 2 away in the inning.
The thing that I love about that, Tom, is that Brandon Phillips, even though he got the long-term deal during the offseason, he's still setting big goals, not just, hit 20 home runs or just do this or just win a couple of games. He's setting big goals for himself even after getting the big contract, and that's what I like to see. There's still a whole lot of baseball to be played even after you sign a big contract.
Well, now Johnny Gomes, who you could make an argument has as big a hit as anybody in this game. Reds were down 1-0. You may remember when they came to bat in the 7th inning. And Roland led off the inning with a walk, but it was Johnny Gomes who hit that double down the third base line to put him at second and third, and the Reds were off and rolling.
He likes being up there with the game on the line. And I don't care how many times he strikes out. He is going to strike out some, and he's going to miss some breaking balls. but he's got those eyes working. When it's time for the game and it's late, he pulls that hat down tight and says, come on.
On the ground to Matsui, and this will do it. But Brandon Phillips gives the Reds a little bit of breathing room. A solo home run, his 20th of the year, and a 3-1 lead. Saturday, Coach Brian Kelly and the Bearcats go to Oregon State to take on the Beavers in a non-conference showdown. That's Saturday at 6:30, presented by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Wow, the Bearcats, before the season began, were not even ranked. And after just annihilating Rutgers on the road in the season opener, went to 23. Vaulted all the way to 17 after their win over the weekend. I got to tell you, Cowboy, I don't know if there's 10 teams in the country better than UC, and you can mark it down. If they win the next 2 games against Oregon State and then Fresno State at home, they will be ranked in the top 10 in the country.
Dude, they scored 70 points. I don't care who you play. You score 70, I like it.
Well, here's Francisco Cordero working on a 2-run lead, 3-1 game, and trying to nail it down. Vladimir Valentin, by the way, is taking over in left field for Johnny Gomes. Cordero has just had, well, like Rhodes and, well, like Massa, this guy has just had a great year. There's no two ways about it.
He has been very accountable.
Only 3 blown saves all year long. Now, granted, he does have 5 losses. Off the end of the bat, a sinking liner. Bruce will run it down. Very similar to the play. And you know, it had to flash through his mind momentarily, which he broke his wrist on in New York back in early July.
Well, that's the Jay Bruce that I remember back in April. Watch the jump that he gets on this baseball. He comes out of nowhere. He's not even in the screen. Look how hard he's running for the baseball. Still has to slide and catch it. That's almost the same as when he broke his arm. Just like that, when it flipped right back in almost in a split-second fashion on the disabled list.
Well, I like watching that.
Maybe he'll make them all.
2 away in the inning, and the Astros down to their final out. So here's Blum. Very good numbers in his career against Cordero. But Francisco trying to forget all about that.
Blum is a fastball hitter. Cordero's a fastball thrower.
1-0 to count on Blum. And this should do it. The Reds have won their 5th consecutive game at home, which is a season high. And they begin this homestand with a 3-1 come from behind win, and the victory to Bronson Arroyo. He deserved it.
Yes, he did. Outstanding all the way around, especially on the comeback end.